Well, the Supreme Court sets to deliver its judgment on 7 governorship appeals. The states are Lagos, Kano, Zamfara, Plateau, Ebonyi, Bauchi, and Cross River states. Now, reports have it that the Apex Court's decision on the governorship election appeals are the final, of course. Now, judgments on the Kano and Plateau appeals are the most anticipated, given that the lower courts had sacked the incumbent governors of these states. Now, counsel representing the parties in the appeals from the 2 states vigorously argued their cases at the Apex Court, seeking to persuade the justices on why the outcome should favor their clients. In the Kano appeal, the tribunal had nullified the election of Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party after declaring 165,663 of his votes invalid. The tribunal held that the deducted votes were from ballot papers that were neither stamped nor signed. Now, the appeal court upheld the tribunal's decision and faulted the lower court for not disqualifying the governor. Now, the appellate court said the governor was not properly sponsored by the NNPP, thus violating the provisions of Section 177C of the Constitution. Oh well, joining us virtually, both our guests are virtual guests this morning. We have Nick Agule, who is a chartered accountant and a public affairs commentator. And we also have John Akirile, who is a journalist and, of course, a public affairs commentator. Now, I do understand that John has joined the conversation. All right, so let me start with John now. Good morning to you, John. Now, looking at the case of Kanu, what are your expectations?
Good morning, Moses. Good morning to Mr. Nick Agule and every other person in the studio, and to all of our viewers that are watching. Moses, I think I need to start on this note.
Before you start, John, I've been meaning to say this. I hope you're safe where you are. I hope you're safe.
I'm safe. I'm cold. Only that it's freaking cold, but I'm good.
Thank you very much.
So
go ahead, please.
That being said, Moses, one thing that I think we need to make our political class understand is that a political party is the vector to which you can be elected into any political space or office. And so when such issues of technicalities are coming up after election, it shows that the political parties as entities have failed in their own responsibility. How can this bring up a case that you have nominated a candidate from your party, you have campaigned vigorously, you have won the election, and now they are taking your candidate to court on the basis of technicality that within your party, such a candidate was not nominated properly. And that shows the lackadaisical attitude that our political class have. And I think whatever comes out from the Supreme Court judgment, it will be a lesson for generations yet unborn to know that as a political party, you need to do all that you need to do. This democracy that we are clamoring for as a society and as a country must first be seen, evident in the political classes, in the political parties. And as such, if political parties are able to, hold on to their own ideologies and go through all of their constitutional provisions and they abide by it, you will see that our courts will have lesser cases about election tribunal to be dealing with. Why? Because most of these cases are showing to you that our political parties have failed in their responsibilities. All they want is just the money bag and how they can share campaign funds around with themselves and the associates. And after election is gone, they leave the contestants or the applicant to start dancing a shameful dance, from moving from one court to another court. From Supreme Court now, that will be the final verdict. But whatever comes out from the Supreme Court, you can never, give or preempt the court as to what the judgment will look like. But what I can say to you, Moses, is that Supreme Court judgment so far that I know have been shocking. And whatever that comes out again will also be shocking to Nigerians and to all of us. But most importantly, our political leaders, our political parties should learn a lot of lessons from the 2023 both presidential, state, House of Assembly, senators, and all other elected positions should understand that going forward, all of these errors need to be corrected, and then each and every political party must come back to the awareness level of educating their members about their ideology, their philosophy, and those tenets that hold their party as a party. And so, all of these cases can be avoided, and then we can have a smooth sail in a democratic process.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. John. Mr. Nick, I'm going to come to you almost immediately. In the impending Supreme Court judgment on the 7 governorship appeals, how might the outcome significantly impact the political landscape of these 7 states? Mr. Nick, I'm on you on this.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to stand on the existing protocols that have already been set by my co-panelist and good friend I have met on VOP, John Akerele. I think if I see in the background where he's sitting, he must be somewhere in the UK. So I think he's very safe, Moses. Now, coming to the question that these are the kind of things that I look at and I say, why are we so unfortunate? You see a place in pictures and you can exactly tell where that person is. Why is Nigeria not made this beautiful? So that anywhere you see a picture like that, you say, okay, yes, that must be Nigeria. It looks quite fine. We can get it done, you know. So in response to the question, I want to lay some background. First and foremost, that today we're expecting the Supreme Court to adjudicate on 7 governorship elections. It's a testament to the broken process of our elections in Nigeria. It shows that the electoral umpire, INEC, is not doing a good job, because this shows that INEC is like a student who failed exams and they have to take it again, or another teacher had to take them again to direct on how they can cross that threshold of a pass. It also shows that elections in Nigeria are something that instead of the voters, the electorate, being the deciders or being those who will crown their leaders, it is now the judiciary in Nigeria that is now crowning leaders, which is an anomaly, because in a normal democracy, the people are the ones who should choose leaders. You know, it shouldn't be the courts that should be doing that. And it also shows that we have a long way to go in terms of electoral reforms. Look at what is happening now. This is January. This is January 2024. The people whose fate will be decided today came into office on May 29th, 2023. And someone is in office for this long, and yet he is not sure whether he's going to be the governor for 4 years or not. And this kind of problem, which has been created by either our electoral laws and the umpire, could have easily been solved if the electoral umpire did not decide that they will go and conduct elections in February and March. Electoral umpire is conducting elections in February and March of 2023 in those they declare victorious in May. If the electoral umpire simply had conducted these elections in November of 2022, the whole of these legal processes would have been finished before candidates would then be sworn in May of 2023. So you see, in Nigeria, we use our hands to cause a problem, and then we spend the whole time trying to solve that problem. So for me, on an overall basis, what I'm saying is that those who are in the National Assembly today, the president who is on seat today, they have to take this thing as their job being cut out for them. Nigeria cannot continue with this type of ignominy, whereby People are elected into office, they sit in office for 6 months, more than 6 months, and yet we don't know whether they are the ones who will be elected or not. And then you look at cases like in Kano State, where the governor, the appeal court removed the governor because INEC failed to carry out his own job. If INEC fails to carry out his own job, why should that then be the reason why the people wanted to be their governor is now going to be removed from office? So there are fundamental things that we have to resolve, and to answer your question directly, how is the political landscape going to change? Of course, the political landscape is going to change, especially in the two states that are in focus. And those states are Plateau and Kano. Because for these two states, the appellate court actually removed the governors. And so if the Supreme Court agrees with the appellate court's decision, we are going to have new governors in Plateau and Kano State. And the implication of that is that, first, Plateau and Kano State will immediately join the ranks of states that now conduct off-cycle election to elect their governors. And that is the thing that we also talked about, the risk. Because look, the way we are doing this thing now, even the presidential election is risked being an off-cycle election. Because, for instance, if the Supreme Court had removed President Tinubu when he was in office for a couple of months and giving it to maybe Atiku Abubakar or Peter Obi, the Nigeria's presidential can be solved easily by conducting elections early enough to allow the courts to decide before you swear in candidates that both the electorate and the courts have said are the winners. So there's a lot of work to be done in the National Assembly and the presidency in terms of constitutional amendment to ensure that these kind of anomalies are no longer there. And the people arm of government are the ones that have to twist the arms of the people who are representing us in the National Assembly and the presidency to get this done.
All right, thank you so much. So, Mr. John, now I'm going to moving away from this. The national APC chairman yesterday has come out to say that their target is to make sure that they get enough legislators and the governors into APC. And we're seeing what's playing out in these different cities that their fates will be decided today. Now, my question is, should we be looking forward to a one-party system?
If we look forward to a one-party system, that is the end of Nigeria. There will not be a country called Nigeria again. You know why?
Why?
Because those who are in power will have their say, and the majority will have their say, and those elites will have their way. And it will be a zoo. Anything goes. As far as in the party, even if you steal money, EFCC will parade you on media and leave you alone. All right? And if you look at why should you have a one-party system? It is dangerous. It is not sane. It is not advisable for a developing economy like Nigeria. May I let you know that Nigeria is the energy of the world. In terms of human capacity and manpower, young population in their productive age, Nigeria has got one of the highest numbers. And as such, if we go to the route of a one-party system, what you are saying is that this present administration can do whatever they like. And if you are not in the party, you hold your peace forever. There will be anarchy. There will be chaos in the land. And so we need to have either a two-party or three-party system. Why is that important? My dear, even in a global economy that is stable, they have competition. They have good competition. So when you have ideas, look at the Americans. When they campaign based on ideas, ideology, programs. But when we campaign on road, bridge. And you want to have a one-party system, that kind of environment, You want to have your own party system in a country that is multidimensionally poor, a country where the political elites are far from the reality, a country where the political leaders don't even care about the masses, a country where a professor is synonymous to a church rat. Even the church rat is even richer than the professor in Nigeria. And so you want to create a one-party system, it means you want to kill the people. And when the people revolt to you, there's problem and chaos in the land. In fact, it will be our own case will be far worse than that of Syria. Gaza will be learning when our own will start. So I want to call out to the present administration, in as much as you're having your way, it's your time, enjoy it. But never you scold everybody into that box of coming into your party.
But
Not
then,
everybody will be a member of your party. Let everybody have their free will to stay wherever they want to stay. You can canvass wherever, the likes of Daniel Buwala, and you can go. But that's not a problem.
Yes.
But let's have a vibrant opposition that can checkmate everybody. That's equilibrium. You know, to be shaking to get a balance.
We have a lot of people moving from other parties to the APC. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. We had Bwala. He moved from Labour Party to PDP PDP to the APC, and we have people resigning, moving to the APC. So should we say, is that really something? Is that not something that should be worried about? People are really moving.
Let me tell you something. That's why in Nigeria, if you want to go into politics, make sure that you are stainless. All right? Make sure you are stainless. Because to a large extent, when they dig out facts about you, they see something that they can nail you with, and that's what they will show you on the placard. Either you join our party and your sins are forgiven, or we bring this against you and we nail you. And so the likes of Daniel Buwala, a very good person that I respect so much, you know, eloquent, brilliant, and sagacious. But then, that tells you that most people at times do not have their own ideology. They do not have their own moral value. They say A to you today, and tomorrow they are saying B to you. I wonder how Daniel Buwala will stand on a TV program and then talk about President of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And these are people that do not remember. Maybe they've forgotten that the internet does not forget. The same as Femi Fani-Kayode. So you see that today they are in PDP, the next time they are in APC, and they move like that. Is the color of a politician, even their spokesperson. You understand? They will say to you that they are doing their job. So they were paid to be a spokesperson. And so that job has been concluded. And in all sincerity, the job is been done. But that shows to you that where does the ideology of these political parties lie? Why did they move from APC to PDP? He didn't move to PDP because of PDP. He moved to PDP because of Atiku Abubakar. And for the project of President 2023. Now, since that project 2023, to me, it seemed concluded and they failed. And so he felt, my assignment here is done and dusted. Let me go back to where I can get a new assignment. And that's what he has done. So for me, I see him as a business person who is looking for a way to make ends meet. But at the same time, that is sending a wrong signal to the younger generation that you are someone that you cannot follow. Today you are white, tomorrow you are black. You don't even know the color that you belong to. And then you can see that the likes of Daniel Buwala are learning from our guy, Minister Wike in person. Do you understand? So some of them, you don't even know where they belong. Either they are in PDP or they are in APC. Some of them, they move from PDP to APC. Some from Labour to APC. From APC to Labour. So that movement has always been like that. One thing is common, and that's at the center of it, is what is in it for them, not for the people. So until we get to a point as a country where we have leaders that are selfless, we will always ask, what is in it for the people and not what is in it for themselves?
All right then. Well, we have joining us in the studio, we have Dr. Olawale Olatubi. Good to have you join this conversation.
Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Ma. Good morning.
Now, we are not preempting the courts, of course, but how do you, there seem to be, well, Nigerians on the street have been saying that there is an influence playing out here, influence of the executive having a hold on the judiciary. No matter how much they try to deny it, there seems to be an undertone of an influence playing out here. Do you think If that is true, do you think it will affect the elections in the states?
People are waiting for the verdict of the judiciary today, and anything the judiciary says can make or mar these two states involved. I think Jos and Kano State.
Actually, 7.
Yeah,
Seven,
yes.
but you know the two major states we are
Major states,
focusing on is actually
Yeah.
Jos and Kano, because Jos and Kano, the two governors, were actually being expelled by the lower court. And one thing I used to say is this, that
Go ahead, go ahead.
one thing I would say is that the executive over time have actually been proving to us that they have been interfering in the judiciary for a long time. People no longer trust the judiciary again in the country because they feel that once the judge is there, probably they are being tipped by. You can remember when it was time for presidential election when they said there was a meeting between the CGN and Tinubu backdoor. They had to come out and, if there had not been traces of this kind of things, they won't come out and say that. So the judiciary needs to stand on its own and be firm on their decision without any interference from any executive, any party, either executive or anybody.
A decision should be clear enough for Nigerians to see that yes, this is white and black is black.
See, if the decision is clear enough, I'm very sure people will not fight. But when people start seeing irregularities, you start seeing fight. Because one thing about democracy is this, the choice of the people. What people went there to vote, and it was very glaring that NNPC actually ANPP that's actually voted in who they wanted in for Kano State. NNPP, right? NNPP. They voted who they wanted in for Kano State. And when I come and say, okay, your people's choice is no longer valuable again, it's like, what the judiciary wants.
But how about the position of the political parties themselves? Not about. I mean, Nick did say something in that regard. The political parties, one can say, they didn't even make it. I mean, they didn't even make their chances good enough by not dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making sure that things are properly done within the party.
People, we need to even have a proper democratic and electoral education. Even the political parties don't even really understand the processes of election. They just give them memorandum. They just think it's just normal class captain election you want to do. There are processes you take for you to go through a normal electoral. So the political parties, either APC or PDP, they have irregularities in their choice of candidates. Irregularities in actually supporting, actually funding. That's why there were loopholes. Now we need to actually focus. The next election is coming 2027. What we need to do is this simple. All political parties need to really understand how this election is being done. We need to have a reform of the electoral law. Now, most of this constitution we're having in Nigeria were 1999, when technology was not really advanced. Now, we are in the age of social media. Now, a lot of things are happening and we are all seeing it. Now, why everybody is now seeing it? Because of the age of social media. Without social media, before 1999, 2001, who knows what is happening in the election? Everybody just say, okay, we'll go and vote. Now, we need to sit down, reform the electoral law, the constitution, and try to make sure that education of the political parties is very, very important. The political parties will be the one to educate their own members, whereas everybody will now be well informed. But when the political parties is not well educated, how will the members be educated? How will even the electorate be educated about how to go through election? Now, election was done by February last year. Now, someone said, one of the analysts said they should have done it by November or so. One thing I would say is this: even if they had done the election 2021, it will still going to take this long period for them to still have this judiciary. So what I need to say is this: after election, the process between any judicial this thing, if you are not having complete, it shouldn't be more than 3 months. Election was done by February. They inaugurated by May. Before August, September, everything that has to do with electoral irregularities, if you are not okay, we go to court, everything within 3 months, so that the present government can have time to focus on the government.
I'm going to take you on that. When you said the present government needs to focus, shouldn't we be particularly concerned about the development of these states rather than chase after these kinds of delay when it comes to election decision.
Mr. David, they say politicians are all selfish. I said it on the people. Politicians, they are all selfish. They are all about their own selfish interest. They don't really even put we, the citizens, in their mind. Everything they are doing is just to make sure that they get into power. They don't want to care about you that has come to vote for them or who they are coming to serve for. Now, if a politician is there, I'm in power as a governor, and I'm having issues, don't come to, you're not meant to be in power today, there's a court. Any politician that want to chop money, that want to embezzle money within that time, they will quickly clear everything they want to clear because they know that they have limited time. Because they know that after today now, the court might say any politician that want to embezzle anything, they can quickly embezzle. That want to sign anything, they will sign into law, and it will not even make them give them the authority to the power to work more. Because when there's interference from here, interference from there, like okay, if I do this now, after 2 months or 3 months, they will remove me.
All right then. All right then. As we make to wrap up, let's quickly get concluding thoughts from Nick and John. Nick, please go ahead. You first.
Yeah, so my concluding thoughts are that Nigeria is a beautiful country. We cannot continue trampling this country on the ground, setting a nail on the country's neck, making the country unable to breathe. And there are certain things that we just need to do, very simple things. For instance, the electoral process. You cannot have a democracy if the electoral process is flawed. You cannot have a democracy where it is the courts that decide who the leaders, the political leaders will be, and not the votes of the people. So I'm not a fan of the constitution of Nigeria. I actually think that we need to dump it and then produce a people-led constitution. However, even if it is this constitution that we have now, let the electoral law be changed. All the issues that we saw in the 2023 election should result in bids for the amendment of the Constitution and the Electoral Act so that in the next cycle of elections, we can get it right.
All right, thank you very much, Nick Kagude, chartered accountant and public affairs commentator. John, please, your concluding thoughts.
Yeah, my concluding thought, Moses, is very simple. It's just that our political parties should not be seen to be active during electioneering time. And after elections, they go back docile.
Yeah.
This is a time for them to engage citizens. This is time for more education. This is time for more awareness. This is time for them to introspect, look at their constitutions, look at those loopholes, look at how they can be corrected, and how they can keep educating Nigerians about democracy. Democracy is the best, but the form that we practice in Nigeria is the worst form of democracy. But in all, God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria indeed. Oh well, let's move on to another topic now.
Yeah, of course. And the second topic says that the fact that Nigeria can exploit the new trend, the popularly called Japa, to earn foreign currencies. Who is saying that? The governor of Bauchi State. Details in a moment.